Helgen is one of the most iconic cities in gaming pop culture, despite being irrelevant past the first act. It served as an introduction for many to one of the most beloved worlds in gaming history. It's no surprise that the modding community has sought to give Helgen meaning beyond its brief relevance. One of the most popular attempts at this style of mod is Mike Honcho's Helgen Reborn. Helgen Reborn adds a medium-length questline that sees you helping to rebuild Helgen and take down a Thalmor slavery ring. The quests have custom voice acting and adds a new follower, some new locations, and some new weapons and armor. I'm going to give you a spoiler-free look at the mod before going a little more in depth, but I'll make sure to give you a warning before I talk about anything that might spoil the story. So in order to start the questline, you have to wait until bandits take over Helgen after it's been destroyed. Then you can read the Helgen Reborn guidebook, and the quest Desperate Times will start with an objective telling you that somebody's looking for you in Whiterun. When you go to Whiterun, the quest marker will lead you to the Drunken Huntsman. Walking in, you'll be approached by a servant named Patsy, who tells you his master Marcus Janus asked him to find you. He then tells you Marcus is waiting for you in Falkreath. Marcus is the most important character in the mod. He's the one that wants to rebuild Helgen. You can meet him in the Dead Man's Drink in Falkreath, and after a short conversation, you learn Marcus suspects the bandits who reside at Helgen aren't bandits at all. Instead, he believes they're a faction dedicated to fighting the Thalmor, named the Keepers of Hatu, which are disguised as bandits to hide from the Thalmor. The mod adds a few books that expand the lore of the faction, which makes it feel more ingrained as a part of the world, and I think it works really well. That's actually something I think the mod is really good at, making its additions feel like a part of the world. The whole questline feels like it could have been a cut questline that somebody restored. During the conversation where Marcus tells you about the Keepers, he also tells you about his friend Valerius Tiberius Artoria. I won't go too in-depth about his backstory, but we'll tell you that Valerius was captured by the Thalmor, and they ended up killing his entire family. Brutally. Marcus Janus then tells you that he's heard rumors that the leader of the bandits is named Val, as in Valerius Tiberius Artoria, which is why he thinks it's the Keepers of Hatu. He then tasks you with going to Helgen with a note for Valerius, and Valerius' dead wife's wedding ring. Then you go to Helgen, and are approached by a quote-unquote bandit named Balfring Firescale. After he grills you on why you're there, you show him the ring, and he takes you to Valerius. You give him the ring and the note, and he sends you to Falkreath to bring Marcus to Helgen. Of course, you're more than happy to do his bidding, and you go find Marcus and escort him to Helgen. When you finally arrive with Marcus, he tells Valerius that he wants to rebuild Helgen and make it his home. You're then sent away for 24 hours so Marcus and Valerius can party it up. When you come back, Val tells you he's found a secret Thalmor prison nearby and sent one of his soldiers, a man named Korst, to go investigate, but he never came back. He ends up finding out that Korst was captured and is now a prisoner in the same Thalmor prison. Valerius wants you to impersonate an Imperial officer and rescue Korst under the guise of a prisoner transfer. You arrive at the prison with some backup and forged documents given to you by Val, get let into the prison, and you can even convince Thalmor to let you take the prisoner. But when you actually try and take the prisoner, the torturer who was previously, torturing him has grown attached to him and doesn't want to see him go, leading to him attacking you, causing you to have to kill every Thalmor soldier and justiciar in the place before returning to Helgen with Korst. Marcus tells you that the first step to rebuilding Helgen is hiring some guards to protect the town and the workers. You're given two options. You can hire guards yourself and keep Helgen independent, or you can ask one of the Civil War factions for guards, and the town will be affiliated with that faction. If you choose to hire your own guards, Marcus's Patsy put recruitment notices in inns all around Skyrim, and you have to go to the inns to meet the future guards. The guards all have their own personalities, but they aren't really important to the story. If you want to know what they're like, you'll have to play the story for yourself. In order to complete this part of the quest, you have to go to inns in Dawnstar, Riften, Solitude, Whiterun, and Windhelm. By the time you finish the quest, you'll have 6 potential guards. Korst takes up responsibility of training the guards. However, he can't do it alone and asks for your help. He asks you to help with evaluating guards, which involves taking each of them with you to clear a dungeon. This is where the pacing of the mod grinds to a dead stop. In order to continue with the questline, you have to take all 6 of the guards through an entire dungeon, each one by one. It's not that the dungeons are bad, they're actually pretty good. It's the fact that you have to clear 6 entire dungeons, and most of the dungeons are pretty fucking long. This part of the questline sucks, and it's probably caused tons of people to drop the questline here. If you decide to chalk through the guard evaluations, when you return after the last one, you find Korst dripped out in a set of gilded steel plate armor, and the new guard recruits lined up in their new uniforms. Korst gives the new guards a speech, and you go inside the Helgen Keep and talk to Marcus. Marcus gives you great news. The workers have finished clearing rubble from around one of the towers and decides to give it to you as player home. You can find a set of the gilded steel plate armor in the end table at the foot of your bed. The armor acts as a uniform for the keepers of Hatu. Marcus also says that the rubble is almost finished being cleared, and once supplies have been delivered, you can finally start rebuilding the town. However, one of the lumber shipments is overdue and he needs you to investigate. Go to Falkreath and talk to the owner of the mill. He tells you all his workers are injured and he has nobody work the mill. Instead of simply taking the town's business to a different lumber mill, we have to go work the mill ourselves. After cutting 1 or 2 logs, one of the mill workers walks up to you. You pay the worker 1,000 gold and he'll work the mill for you. You can also get him to tell you why nobody is working, and it turns out the mill owner is a big gambler who lost all his money at the fighting pits. You can go confront the mill owner with this information, and he admits it. It says it may be weeks before he can deliver lumber to Helgen. The mill owner asks for your help, and of course, because you're the main character in a Bethesda game, you can't say no and agree to help him. He has an idea to get all his money back. He wants you to enter the fighting pits and win fights so he can bet on you and win. Now, this whole lumber mill side plot is, in my opinion, the second worst part of this quest mod. And it's especially apparent when you're fighting in the pits, because it can be pretty repetitive, and the first time you play it, you have no idea how long it's going to be. Although I will say, it's not as bad as the guard evaluations, because at least you don't have to travel much. But in this section, all you have to do is fight, collect your reward, talk to the guy to get your next fight, and repeat, like 4 or 5 times. Once you've done all the fights and beaten the Grand Champion, you go back to Falkreath and talk to the mill owner, who tells you all is well and the rest of the shipments will be on time, giving you a pretty sweet discount for your trouble. And you go back to Helgen and report to Marcus, tell him the good news. Now, past this point, we're going to be in spoiler territory, so skip to the timestamp on screen. If you're worried about that, you have been warned. Marcus sends you to talk to Valerius, who tells you he's confirmed the existence of a Thalmor slave ring operating in Skyrim. The slave ring plot was hinted at in a few different spots in the prison rescue earlier. Valerius tells you that one of the high-ranking Thalmor agents involved in the slave ring likes to frequent a brothel named the Tall Mast Tavern, and sends you to gather information which will point you in the right direction. Inside the tavern, you'll meet a nice lady named Diana, who you can ask about the Thalmor. She doesn't offer much information at first, but you can convince her to eventually give up the information. She says that someone came in looking for Arundel, who is a high-ranking Thalmor agent and Valerius' sworn enemy that he told you about earlier in the prison quest. She says that the man who came in asking about the Thalmor agent is in Solitude, waiting to take a ship home, but if you hurry, you might be able to meet him. You'll find the guy in the Winking Skeever, where you can threaten him to get him to talk, and he will tell you he doesn't actually know anything about Arundel, but he knows an associate of his named Gunlaug, and tells you Gunlaug is operating near a shipwreck and points the way for you. You go to the shipwreck, of course, and kill all the slavers there, including Gunlaug himself. You pick up a key off his corpse, and you use it to free the slaves. One of the slaves tells you that the bandits are talking about somebody coming soon and asks you to check outside to see if the coast is clear so they can make their escape. As soon as you step outside, though, Arundel blasts you in the face with a roofie spell that makes you paralyzed and causes you to pass out. You wake up on his ship where he monologues to you. He uses a lot of words to tell you that he captured Marcus and will kill him and the rest of the people in Helgen if we don't help him capture Valerius so he can kill him. He then shoots all over your face again and you wake up on the shore. Upon your return to Helgen, you find Valerius has figured out that Falco, one of Val's soldiers he sent to back you up at the prison, was giving information to the Thalmor and got Marcus captured. Falco pleads to be let go and tells us that he only did it because the Thalmor said they had his family. Valerius has him locked up. You fill Val in on what Arundel said, and you both go to the Thalmor prison where they're holding Marcus, which just so happens to be the same prison they held Korst in. The Thalmor soldiers in the prison are standing down, so you can just walk through to Marcus' cell where Arundel is waiting for you. When you arrive, Arundel starts monologuing to Valerius about how much his family suffered when he had them killed, among other things we won't talk about. until Val finally has enough and attacks him, but the elf uses a more powerful version of the spell that he used on you to take down Valerius. At this point, you finally get to kill Arundel and wipe out all the Thalmor in the prison again. You take the key from Arendel's body and free Marcus. Valerius is dying on the floor at this point, so Marcus goes to try and help him, but Val tells him he isn't going to make it and passes away as Marcus comforts him in a beautiful moment. After Val's death, the rest of the keepers of Hatu run in, intending to back you up, but they realize it's all over when they see Val's body. Marcus asks you to leave so the keepers can have a moment alone with Valerius and tells you to go meet him in town next day for his funeral. The funeral service goes off without a hitch. Words are said and the pyre is lit. When you talk to Marcus after the funeral, you two go off to deal with a loose end. Go to the keep cells and find Korst down there with Falco tied up again. The three of you try to figure out what to do with Falco. Korst wants to kill him. Marcus says they probably should, but isn't sure and leaves the decision up to you. You have three choices. You can let Korst kill him, you can kill him yourself, or you can have him banished from the town. The choice doesn't really matter as you never see him again no matter what, but it's still nice from a role-playing perspective that they let you choose. With Falco's fate decided, the questline is pretty much over. Marcus says it's going to be a little bit before the town is done being rebuilt, that he already has a few people wanting to set up stores in the town once it's built, including himself. He also tells you that he plans on having something built to honor Valerius Tiberius Artoria. The town gets built incrementally after the main quest ends, and you're notified every once in a while when progress is made. Pivoting away from the story and on the more technical side of things, the mod plays like pretty much any vanilla faction questline. In terms of level design, the new locations, they're pretty well done. They have a few twists in there that keep the dungeons fresh. The Haunted Mine is well done. I thought it was the highlight of the guard evaluations, although it isn't saying much. It's still one of the better dungeons in the game, especially in terms of the mines. The Stadamar ruins were good too. It's pretty challenging, especially the Dragon Priest boss fight at the end there. The fight pit opponents were fun too. Felt like Oblivion's arena with the opponents having unique traits that made them all stand out. Like for example, you fight that cocky orc at the start. He thinks he's gonna crush you. He ends up eating dirt. And there's what's his name, Brutus, who insists on fighting you barehanded. Despite being put in a bad spot pacing wise, the fight pits are one of the most fun aspects of the mod. The rebuilt town is lacking a little polish, but it's pretty much everything you'd ever need in the Skyrim town. You've got a player home, some of the characters even open up shops in town over the questline. Marcus Janus runs the general shop, Helgen Wholesale. Balfring and Sienna run the blacksmith shop, Hammer and Anvil. Patsy runs the Helgen Inn, and some of the workers stayed behind to run the alchemy and magic shop. Potent Portables and Arcane Ambry, respectively. The town is nice, even if there isn't much to actually do there. It being such an iconic location really makes it special, makes it stand out. Voice acting is pretty good for a mod, especially one that released over a decade ago. It doesn't feel out of place in Skyrim at all, although there is one exception. Korst's voice sounds like somebody doing a really shitty Arnold impression.
I didn't know, Falco. I thought I might die in this stinking place. Are all those guards dead? You killed them all?
Another small nitpick I have that is tangentially related to the voice acting is that most of the NPCs added by the mod don't have any passive lines of dialogue. The guards you evaluate don't have any follower dialogue to keep you entertained in the dungeons, and most of, if not all, the background NPCs don't say anything when you try and talk to them or look at them. In the vanilla game, when you walk up to an NPC, even if you can't enter a conversation with them, they'll still have some generic dialogue lines. This is missing in a lot of places in Helgen Reborn. The visuals aren't necessarily anything to write home about, not that it's a bad thing. It's Skyrim, so graphics aren't necessarily the most important thing for a quest mod. Besides, the mod uses vanilla assets, so it'll use whatever textures you have installed. The mod can fit into most people's mod lists. One of the upsides of the mod being over a decade old is that we have over a decade of compatibility patches. So, is Helgen Reborn any good? Yeah, I'd say it's pretty good. It offers a good lore-friendly questline that expands on one of the most underused locations in gaming that I can think of. I think it's worth giving a shot on your next playthrough. One of the best things about it being a really vanilla-friendly quest mod is that It won't stand out in a mod list. Feels like an extension of the main game. Yeah, it's got its issues, but so does every questline in Skyrim, modded and not modded. The mod shows its age a little bit, but it still holds up pretty damn well. It's like an athlete that's past its prime but still kicking ass. Like LeBron James. Helgen Reborn is 2020's LeBron James. The mod is a classic for a reason, and I think it's still got something to offer Skyrim players in 2026. That brings us to the end of our video. I just want to thank you all for watching this video all the way through. This is my first full-length video, and I put a lot of work into it. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, subscribe, please. I'm trying to get 2,000 subscribers so I can get paid for my videos. Also, shout out my dad for getting a mic for this video so I could record voiceovers. Shout out my sister for being quiet for most of this voiceover recording, too. That was very helpful. Anyways, bye.